Literalmente pasamos de ser el país más inseguro del mundo a ser el país más seguro de todo el hemisferio occidental.
President Nayib Bukele was re-elected, but I want to show you some of the headlines. Now, Bukele, who has turned El Salvador, which in essence was a third world country. I was there about a decade ago, and it was very, very dangerous and run by gangs, and there were only certain streets you could walk down, and they had barbed wire all over the place because apparently barbed wire does keep bad people out, which is why they keep it at prisons and things like that and borders, etc. But he has won. He's turning the country around. There's a ton of investment happening in the country. It is way safer right now. There's a lot of good stuff happening in El Salvador right now. I want to show you a couple headlines on how the mainstream media is treating this guy. Headline from the AP, coolest dictator to philosopher king, Nayib Bukele's path to re-election in El Salvador. Interesting, they called him a dictator. He just won a free and fair election. A headline from CNN, in El Salvador, self-styled world's coolest dictator, Nayib Bukele heads for re-election amid human rights concerns. He did arrest a lot of gang members and make the streets safer. But again, dictator. Headline from WAPO, the inescapable appeal of the world's coolest dictator. So as you know, words mean nothing. I will throw one more in for you. Headline from Time, world's coolest dictator, Nayib Bukele claims El Salvador presidential re-election. So what this guy did when he came in, the entire country, in essence, had been run by gangs. Quite literally, my brother-in-law was living there about a decade ago, and we went, and he was doing some volunteer work, and we went, and he lived, but we were there for a couple weeks in like this little community that was safe, barbed wire, armed guards everywhere, and they had gangs just all over the place. If you walked out, there was a good chance you were going to be killed, certainly mugged or anything else, and that happened all over the country. People would literally be in their homes, and then the gangs would just come and kick you out of your home. Congratulations, the gang owned your home. So this guy comes in. He gets the police and the military to start actually doing their job. They arrest thousands and thousands of members of these gangs. And now there is law and order. And then what happens when you have law and order on the streets? And this is a message in case you're the mayor of Chicago or of New York City watching this show. When you have law and order on your streets and people feel safe, then people are like, you know what, maybe I'll open up a business. How about that? Maybe I'll go to the theater. Maybe I'll see what else is happening on the street and get a slice of pizza. And then economic activity starts happening. People start getting happier. They're flourishing. Good things start happening. So sort of the reverse of what's happening in our big cities is what's happening in El Salvador right now. Anyway, here is video of Nayib Bukele, who is being called all of the worst things, right? Much like Milei in Argentina, who is fighting the media and bringing capitalism back to his country and everything else. Here he is talking about how the regime media lies about him.
Pasamos de ser literalmente, no es una exageración, no es una hipérbole, literalmente pasamos de ser el país más inseguro del mundo a ser el país más seguro de todo el hemisferio occidental. El país más seguro de todo el continente americano. ¿Y qué dijeron? Está violando derechos humanos. ¿Los derechos humanos de quién? ¿De la gente honrada? No. Tal vez pusimos prioridad en los derechos de la gente honrada sobre los derechos de los delincuentes. Eso es lo único que hemos hecho. Y lo que ustedes a eso le llaman violar derechos humanos. Yo le pregunto a estos organismos, a estos gobiernos de naciones extranjeras, le pregunto a estos periodistas, ¿por qué desean que nos maten? ¿Por qué desean ver sangre de salvadoreños? ¿Por qué no están felices de que en nuestro país ya no corre la sangre que corría antes? ¿Por qué debemos morir nosotros y nuestros hijos para que ustedes estén contentos que estamos respetando su falsa democracia que ni ustedes mismos respetan en sus propios países?
All right, so for those of you listening on audio, in essence, what he's saying there is that we are going to have a country where we are going to stand up for the rights of our citizens, of people who are functioning in our society the way they are supposed to. For El Salvadorians, you know, he said something to the effect of, you know, they're criticizing me because of human rights violations. He says, human rights violations for who? for the gang members. So he went in and he cleaned up his country. He claims there, I don't know that it's absolutely true, I think it's at least trending wise true, that they went from the most dangerous country to the safest country in the Americas. I'm not totally sure that that's absolutely correct, but it certainly is heading in that direction. You know, there's also something else interesting about it. He has no teleprompter. He's 37 years old. He looks like he's going to go bang his wife after that thing. And I actually think we need some of that energy, right? Does Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden, please, Trump and like there's something about someone that's in the beginnings. He's 37, right? He's 10 years younger than me. He's in the beginning of his life. He is on the way. He has a vested interest in turning this thing around for his children and everything else. And that's the spirit that countries are going to need to turn all of this around.